Hi everyone, this beautiful little pup is Biggie. Biggie is a big fan of sleep, and recently he was up for a new dog bed. His old one was just kind of beat up, so I decided to make him one instead. And in this video, I show the process of making this dog bed. Alright, so for starters, let's talk about the bed itself. It consists of 4 sections of frame and 4 posts. The frames connect to the post, and in this portion of the video, I'm actually planing down the frame sections to the thickness that I want them to be. Now, in order to join the frame pieces to the posts, I wanted to go with a mortise and tenon type of joinery. So I just used the table saw to cut out the section with the stop block to where I wanted it to go, and then I just ran the table saw multiple times to get most of the bulk material out of the way. And that way it was a pretty smooth process, fairly easy to do. If you have a dado stack, you should be fine. After I cleaned those up, I started with the posts themselves, and here I'm cutting in the actual mortises. Pretty straightforward process. Just drilled in several drill holes, and that way I could clear out most of the bulk material. And then same with the tenon portions, just go back and clean out this section with a chisel. So as I mentioned before, after I had removed most of the bulk material with the drill press, I went ahead with the chisel and cut out the rest of the material. That way those tenons go in very smooth. So if you notice originally in the beginning of the video, the post had a very nice chamfer going on. And so that was pretty easy to do. Here I'm using a jig to recreate those chamfers throughout all the posts. I would bring it back a little bit just because since I was making such thin cuts, I didn't wanted to reduce the probability of kickback from material coming through. The jig itself, mine is primarily based off of one of the books from Fine Woodworking, but very easy, straightforward process once you have a jig for it. I wouldn't really recommend doing it by hand, it'd be pretty difficult. So in order for me to add the leather strips that I had in mind, I had to clear out some space through the bed frame sides. In order to do this, I just brought the pieces back to the drill press, made a fence, made sure everything was nice and straight, and just simply drilled through the frame itself. Now in order to clean out the interior section, right, because you're going to have some sharp ridges and I didn't want to create any stresses with the leather, I just went through and hand filed out all those rough edges and that was a very easy way to doing that. You can also run sandpaper through there, but just having a nice small file was perfect for the job. Alright, so at this point the bed frame has been dry fitted, everything fits perfectly, which is good. So I went ahead and started working on the leather strips. Now these leather strips were ordered through Amazon, and the length of them were from one side of the bed frame to the other plus an extra 3 inches. The extra 3 inches are the portion of the leather that's actually going to go through the holes that were done on the side frames. That way I have enough slack to sew through when I'm attaching these leather strips to the frame. Speaking of the sewing through, I actually used a leather hole punch to punch holes through the leather, which made it very easy to sew through. At this point, the bed frame is completely glued together. It's already been finished. The finish that I utilized for this build was wipe on poly. I'm a big fan of wipe on poly. I just think it looks great on finished pieces. It just feels smooth after you sand it. It's just a great finish to work with. For other aspects of the build, the actual material that I utilized was primarily walnut, and the inserts are actually maple. Now, a part of the footage that I'm missing in this video, unfortunately, was creating the posts. What I ended up doing there was I squared a big chunk of walnut, which is actually a 4-inch chunk of walnut that I had. And once that was squared, I cut out these sections that I wanted to add the maple, and then I glued it all together. I thought about using dowels to ensure that the pieces wouldn't move or would create more of a strength between those glue ups. However, these pieces are very thin, and they're just more of a decorative piece. Also, they're for a Chihuahua, so I wasn't really too worried about these posts from breaking. And as you can see, Biggie loves his bed. He uses it non-stop, which is good to see. Well, if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for future videos that'll be coming out very soon. Thanks for watching.